Hello. Okay, so I looked at the energy and astrology of February and I was like, there is no way in hell I cannot do a Soulcast Energy Report. It has been a while. I'm reviving it because I haven't done one in months. I can't remember the last month. I used to do these for like 3 years straight, kind of got disenchanted. And then I was like looking at all the things that are going to go down this month and just the way that the energy is shifting and changing. And I was like, I got to do it. So here I am. If you're new to me, my name is Elle Davis. I'm a channel, a healer, and a transformational mentor that specializes in future self embodiment, which means I help you heal forward to become your future self now. So you can have that life right here today, not far off in the distance. Okay. So February is going to be one of those months you'll look back maybe a year later, or I don't know, and say, whew, a lot of stuff changed. We got eclipses. We got like all the makings of like just an incredibly potent month. And so if you've never done a Soulcast and Energy Report with me, what I do is I pull a card for the month and then I pull a card for each week. I channel and I just bring supportive guidance, clarity that can help you navigate this to your best uh, possible way. Okay. So, anyways, let's see. I'm going to pull the card for Fairy. I didn't pull these before. I'm pulling it right now in real time. And I'm doing this today, which is a little bit behind. Today's, I believe, what, the fourth, but hey, better late than never, right? So we're still in the energy of the first week, but let me pull the card for February. So we get the firm foundation card for the month of February. I really enjoy this card because it's very 3D and we are building a whole new world. I know that sounds really dramatic, but February's astrology is taking us into unprecedented, uncharted territory, at least in our lifetime, right? And we have the history of like what happened years ago in these cycles, but let's hope that we've learned and shifted our consciousness from some of these prior cycles. So, what I'm receiving for this card is this February is an opportunity for a couple different things. One, we're still shedding the snake skin up until about the 17th. We are still shedding the skin. We have Chinese New Year on the 17th. We move out of the snake and we go into the fire horse. And I would allow yourself to release. So think of the firm foundation as what I'm hearing is like a container, like you are the container, and everything in your life is built through your consciousness and your perception. So when you work on the container, that's what you want to work on, the firm foundation. You could see it as like, oh, I need to work on my life and all that, but like everything's animated through you. So 4 is the number of this card, which is a very grounding energy. And this is about letting go of what needs to be released, noticing the patterns and noticing the things that have been really loud that want to be retired before we move into eclipse season, before we move into the fire horse. Because fire horse is going to be like, let's go. I mean, we have so much fire energy happening. It's insane. So going into, I should say, we're going into a lot of fire energy with all these placements in Aries and all this stuff. So what I want you to consider is noticing like what's been the content of your life, like as you're in this first week of February, but like it's going to be for the whole month, like, but it's a big, there's like two halves to it. It's like the first couple weeks is the letting go and the releasing the final tendrils of the past and wrapping up that 9 year cycle, like any last work. It's almost like we finished it with the end of last year, but it's like, oh wait, I forgot to like clean that corner over there. I forgot to go sweep out that desk. Like I need to like, I don't want to have that. I don't want that clutter in my space. So it's like, think of it as you're getting this little last chance. And I know for me, I'm just speaking for me, that so much is being shown to me and I'm like, oh my gosh. And actually what was so fascinating is I had a session for myself recently, and I could see a pattern that I've been operating from for so many years in my life that I hadn't been able to see. And I was like, whoa, how did I not see that? But it's like that's the part, like that's the energy. Like we're last minute revelation so that you can change and be more embodied before we move into this fire horse. And then the second half of this month is going to be very much a lot of things happening because we're going to be in eclipse season, which are portals of destiny. Okay. I don't want you to be afraid of an eclipse. And this specific eclipse hasn't happened for 18 years. Okay. 18 years. So where were you? Who were you 18 years ago? And I will get to that in a little bit. But eclipses move things forward. It starts with the Aquarius new moon. It's going to move things forward. And, we'll talk about the energy of Aquarius. But so we have that coupled with the fact that Saturn is going to move out of Pisces, which it's been in for quite some time, and it's going to move into Aries in its finality. Okay. Like it's happening. So the way to navigate so many of these changes is to have a firm grip on reality. If you haven't noticed, there's been a shitstorm out there of like all I see lately on my social media is like Epstein file things being released. And then I saw this thing about it, like a pedophile that was like a book author in Australia. I was like, what the hell is happening? Like, what is going on right now? It's like the dirty disgust is being kicked up, in the air. But it's like we're in Aquarius season. We are in the energy where and Pluto's in Aquarius. We are in this like transformation of like old structures crumbling. Like that's still a little bit a part of the nine. It's like there's a lot of different reasons why all these things are happening. But what I want you to know is that if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't know your center or have your own like resolve, if you will, you could get freaking worked right now. That is the truth. Okay. You gotta be doing your energy work, your prayers. And when I talk about energy work, I just do like a little, I should share in a different video, like what I do for my energy routine. But your prayers, your meditation, your walks, your whatever you do to take care of you, you got to have a firm foundation to get through this because it's like buckling your seatbelt and saying, okay, I'm going to drive this fast car, but I know I'm safe because I have my seatbelt on. I'm going to be paying attention to the road and the other drivers. If there's a crazy driver or a drunk driver, I'm going to make sure that I'm like mindful of how I'm showing up. Like you can't control who else is going to be on the road, but you can control you, right? That's the energy. Like work to know your place in all of this. And don't get caught up in all the freaking madness. Like, please do not subscribe to all that shit. Like, seriously, like, it's such like these things are happening, but there's such a distraction. Like, they want to pull your awareness from you just living a good life. And we can't ignore things. God, no. You don't want to ignore, but at the same time, you don't want to get lost and swept away in that current. And there's a lot of divisiveness right now. There's a lot of things that would have you maybe feeling against your neighbor or your brother or sister on this planet. And don't let them have that energy, you guys. Like, seriously, it is such a freaking psyop sometimes, some of the stuff that goes on. And you always have to ask yourself, like, why now? Like, why is all this? And of course, there's very real things happening, but I'm just saying the division and all these things, that's what they want. They want, and it's like, don't subscribe. So, anyways, there's going to be a lot more revealed this month. Okay. Like it's kind of like whiplash. I keep getting like car things. It's whiplash, like, whoo, God, like, oh. So you got to take care of yourself. And if you've heard those stories where people get in car accidents and their bodies, because they were, you either brace for something or you're relaxed. And if you're relaxed, you don't get hurt the same way. So I want you to be in a relaxed state. I want you to do everything you can to build a firm foundation and to understand that you're starting a new cycle of your life. Like really, really, this is the closing out of a chapter that feels like part one, depending on your age, like part one is over and now we're stepping into a new part two. And I don't know why. I know that sounds really like audacious, but that's the feeling I get, especially with astrology on February 20th, where we are at 0 degrees, Saturn and Neptune and Aries. Aries is the initiator. Aries is the first sign of the of the astrology wheel. Aries is new beginnings. It's spring. So if we're at 0 degrees with these two planets being in this sign, we are starting something new. Okay. We are starting something new. So I want you to think of that. Like, what do I need to clean up? How do I need to take care of myself in the present moment? And what am I preparing myself for? Because it's almost like the dreams that you started maybe January with, that you're like, oh God, I feel like I'm sludging. Like it's like, is that even a word? Did I just make that up? What I mean to say is like, you're kind of like trying to walk through mud. Okay, what's the word for that? I can't think of it right now. But you're walking through mud and everything feels like kind of like you're in sludge. Maybe I'm making that word up, but whatever. And it's hard. It maybe has felt hard to get momentum. Well, you weren't supposed to have momentum necessarily. You weren't, because we're still at that ending, like I said. And the astrology, even though we had some good placements with Capricorn and stuff in the beginning of the year, it still wasn't like go time. But now we're getting to go time. So that is the card that we have to remember. This is our power card for the whole month, to have a firm foundation. And I'm just getting like this one other hit. You may want to look at like certain areas in your life where you're like, oh God, if I bring that weak foundation into this next thing, it's not going to work. And trust me when I say this, and I don't mean to scare you, but going into eclipse season, if there is a part of your life that is in alignment, it's out. It's out. That's what eclipses do. But I tell you what, I met my husband in an eclipse. Like it was so dreamy and romantic. It was like the Scorpio eclipse in 21. Um, I've had so many amazing things happen during eclipses, so I don't want you to be afraid of an eclipse. It's nothing to be afraid of. Okay, so let's get cooking on this, as my daughter would say. My seventh grader. She's got cooked, mom. So I might be using it wrong. Okay, so let's focus on this first week of February that we are already in. I'm a little delayed, but that's okay. Truth. Oh, I have to laugh. Okay. So we just had, for this week, as I think it was yesterday, Uranus went direct in Taurus. Uranus is going to be changing sign soon and going into Gemini. But for right now, that is ending a big chapter. I believe it's been there since 2018. 2018. So wherever you have had Taurus in your chart, you have gone through a lesson. You have learned something through the energy of Uranus. Okay. You got Uranus's surprise. It's innovation. It's shifting. It's changing things up. Uranus doesn't want to keep things the same. And Uranus rules Aquarius. Okay. So that's why Aquarius is like that too. It wants freedom. It wants to liberate you from something. So where have you been liberated? Mine is the second house. It's like my body and my finances and my self-worth. So, and that is what Taurus is, but I happen to have it in the second house. So look where you had that, because that energy is shifting. Then we have this card, which is so Aquarius. It's like, wake up, wake the F up. Woo. What are we waking up from? The illusion, right? When Neptune moved out of Pisces, I was like, hot damn, like that happened last week. I could feel it. Okay, so Pisces, right? The unconscious, the dreamy. Neptune rules Pisces, and it is all about that, the spiritual work. So it moved into Aries. So all of a sudden, with these planets moving and shifting, and this isn't just going to be about that, but we're going to see things from a different vantage point. And Aquarius is waking you up. right? It's going to reveal it's going to reveal to you where you're not free. It's going to reveal to you where you're making life so hard because you are working just from like matter and not frequency. So Aquarius knows how to take the unmanifest that's in the energy world and bring it to the 3D and create it to be manifest. Okay. That's a real superpower because most people, unless they can like touch something, their desk or, my computer, unless they can touch something, they don't believe it's really there. And there's so much more to this world, right? So when you think about this energy and all the things that are shifting, this is the card that's saying, oh, we need to see things for what they really are. Oh, wow, something's going to be revealed to us to wake us up. It's the energy of, I didn't know that was there. Now I can't unsee it. And so I mentioned it in the collective that's happening, but it's also happening for us individually and it's happening, right? Because it goes back to what I was saying is we're releasing those limiting beliefs and patterns that are keeping us held in that prison of conformity, of sameness, of playing small. Ooh, boring. Okay. So where do you need to release yourself from all of this? Where do you need to release? What is being shown to you? So trust that this week is going to give you the very content that you need to make some changes. And it may be difficult. I saw something about myself this week that I was like, oh, ouch. It was the way I was showing up in a relationship. And I was like, I didn't even know I was doing that. That's why it's so beautiful to have helpers and guides and leaders that are in our lives that like point things out that are in our unconscious. It's in our blind spot. So, anyways, this is the type of epiphany or awakening that can shift you, that can help move you in new directions. And so trust that. Okay. Like I don't want this to be something where you're like, oh, I'm afraid. But I've said this before. I'll say it again. The worst way that we can withhold truth is from ourselves. Yes, we can do it with other people, but the worst I believe is when we withhold it within ourselves and we don't admit to ourselves the truth of our lives. Like if you don't like something about your life, change it. Stop complaining about it. And I'm not trying to be mean, but the complaining is not going to get us where we want to go. It's like get into prayer, ask like what is it that I need to do that would shift this energy? What is it I need to see that can get me out of this limited thinking? Remember, there's always a solution to every problem. We just don't always know what that is. And so we have to live into the answer. So allow yourself whatever's going to catalyze this energy for you weekend. So it could be like a conversation with somebody, or you read a book, or you listen to a podcast. What I don't know what it's going to be, but whatever that is, or maybe you see something in the collective that you're like, oh my God, like what is going on with people? And it awakens something in you, a fear or whatever it may be, and use that material as an opportunity for growth and understanding that this card just wants you to see things from a different perspective. It wants to awaken you to what's possible. But first, it has to show you the truth so that you can have the awareness of what needs to change. So I just feel this really, like when I tune into it, I'm getting a really beautiful blue energy. And it looks like so much of this can be delivered through connection, through communication with somebody else. Like somebody that you love might be able to like show you where, through a great conversation where you've been blocked or what's happening. It just feels it feels loving. It feels maybe even tender at times, but it's something that can accelerate you forward. And so I want you to take, look at your life in the buckets: family, faith, finances, fitness, and ask yourself, where might I have an area that I'm not like, am I being honest with myself about all these areas? Is my health the thing that's suffering? And then, or is it my really, whatever area, like what's the one that's not strong? And what is the truth that you need to see so that you can have that firm foundation for the month so you can take care of yourself? But I still get so much like throat chakra, so much communication through connection and through believing in a bigger possibility. Like, I really want you to hold that. I want you to believe that there's a bigger possibility for your life. And the reason the truth is going to be revealed to you or something is going to be catalyzed this week is because it's time to move out of where you've been. It's time to move into something else, and it's time to get real with yourself. Okay. So I love that energy. So we'll leave that there. Then we have the 9th, and I'll pull the card first and then I'll go in because that week we have some energy changes. And we get the root chakra card. It's called the base chakra on here, but it's the root chakra. So interesting. Okay, so Saturn moves into Aries on the 13th. That's going to be a big shift. We experienced it a little bit last year. Saturn is the planet of discipline and responsibility. So it's going to come into Aries, and it's going to really have you take your identity seriously, because that's a big piece of Aries, right? It's our identity. It's how we're showing up. It's our physical body. It's your stamina. And so this card, I can't escape the body when I can't. It's like showing me body and community. And it's like, what the heck does that mean? But the question I'm getting is like, how, like Spirit's saying, like, how are you in relationship? Like, how does your body feel around your community, your environment? How do you feel in your home? This is a card that's like really asking for that like final clearing, that final sweep of what needs to go. Okay. So I really want you to honor the call. So it might just be, wow, I don't like going to that organization. I don't like that thing that I've committed to. I don't feel good when I leave that. Or, oh my gosh, I have some of these friends and I don't feel good around them. I don't know. It's not necessarily a negative thing per se, but this is really like kind of looking at your body and how it feels in relationship to things and what it is that you need to clean up so that you can feel safe in your body. And safety is like such a deep topic, but what I mean by that is your nervous system feels grounded, it feels good. And this also feels like a week that you may be working on your nervous system and noticing your reactions to things in your life. And maybe you kind of say, oh gosh, I'm really reactive. I need to change some things up. This isn't healthy the way that I'm reacting to this person or I'm reacting to this situation. That's kind of an opportunity for you to do some deeper work on yourself. So it feels very much like your body's a strong barometer. You might be feeling a lot. I don't know why the body's like so loud in this week, but that's just what I'm getting. It's giving you signals and symptoms maybe of what needs to change, what needs to finally be released. I'm also hearing some people might be tired. There might be just a general malaise. There could be a little bit of melancholy because it's like the final end to something. Okay. Like this is the week right before we go into all the change. And so um they just showed me ancestral healing. So this might also be with your family. Like, where are you tied into old bonds with family that are no longer valid? Like, where are you perpetuating old wounding? This is really interesting. I'm hearing stuff around like money. I'm hearing stuff around, yeah, like the way you manage your life. How is that tied into some limiting things that might have been passed down to you from family? What do you need to change? But so not only is there like the body, but it's also like what lives in the body, the wounding and the ancestors, and how the ancestors, it's almost like you're being given an opportunity to like clear something very deeply in your root chakra around money, to rewrite a new story around money. I don't know why, but that's what I'm hearing. So use that opportunity. If you've been stuck in some money stuff, this is your week to like rewrite a new story, maybe give back like any scarcity or poverty mentalities to your family members. Really think about what it would be like to feel rich inside yourself. And I'm not talking just about money, right? But like to be resourced, and also to like really dream into, if you had all the resources, what would you do with them? How would you help? hope to God you would help, right? Like that's our thing. I always told God, I'm like, if you make me like a multimillionaire, I will give back. I will help so many people. I'll be a good steward. So use this week to clean things up, clean up your health, clean up your body, clean up your environment, and look at any ancestral things that are showing up this week with family. If you have any family issues, you are right where you need to be. It's an opportune, week and time to clear some things up. I'm not sure why, but that's what spirit is saying, and I just trust it. I just trust that that is what needs to happen. And it really feels like, because we're moving into this new timeline where like you don't want to bring all that old stuff. Like it's like spirit's like, we want to help you lighten your load. You don't need to bring all your baggage with you into these new energies, into the fire horse here. It's like let's leave it there. Let's alchemize it. Let's be done with it. So that's the energy I see for the week of the 9th. And we're going into the week of the 16th. And this is a big week. It's a big, let me see. Oh, shit. Oh, God, you can't even make this up. The disruption card. It's the Tower. Yo. Okay. Well, not to be scared, but this is a 16 card, which is soul lessons and soul growth. The soul lessons that happen so that we can evolve and grow. Okay. So the week of the 16th, the 17th, we have the fire horse. We have the Aquarius eclipse season starting. We have a new moon in Aquarius. Okay. This card is so on point. It's not even funny. Eclipses like to eject us from anything that's not aligned. And it could feel like a destruction, or disruption is what this card calls it. But it could feel like destruction. It could feel like, oh, like I was planting the seed garden, and now like some like little critter got in and just ate all my, my seeds and got some of my crops or whatever. But maybe what you didn't realize is that that wasn't the best place to like plant your seeds or grow. Like it was supposed to be somewhere else. So whatever happens, whatever tower moment that is happening, first of all, there's tower in the collective, okay? Like it may not be your personal tower moment, by the way. It could be in the collective. It is in the collective where like lots of things are like shifting rapidly, like systems are coming down, things are being exposed, okay? But for your soul's growth and evolution, don't hang on to anything, like, right? Like I've already been talking about this. Like go just trust where you're being taken. That's so hard, right? It's so hard. But this card is basically saying that there might be an area of your life that seems like it's disrupted, but it's actually course correction and realignment. And I mean, let's be real. Like we're going from snake, which I believe is water, to fire and to more Aries, right? I mean, we're like full on Neptune and Saturn and Aries, and then we're like going into a fire, symbol for the new year. It's like, hello, we have a lot of momentum and fire going on. And if you don't know a lot about Aries, I'm an Aries rising. I know a lot about Aries, and it's the warrior. It's very much a leadership energy, but at the shadow, it's like fighting and war and arrogance and all these kinds of things. But at the exalted state, it's very much the initiator, the person who goes first, the person who's ready to take action and make things happen and lead others. So it's a brave sign. It really is. It really is a brave sign. And for you to start something new, a lot of the times you have to be willing to let go of something. You have to be willing to let go of an identity of who you've been and your comfort zone. And I know this all too well. If you're listening to this and you're like, yes, I know what you're saying, Dawn, reach out to me if you're in that place, because I love to support people and moving towards the identity they want to become. Especially if you've been stuck and you're like, what is that thing keeping me stuck? Get a reading with me. But what happens in these kind of situations is that the tower comes because in order to switch to the new identity or do the very new thing, you have to be willing to let old ways go. I'm experiencing this right now in my own life, because I'm starting a new podcast. I'm starting a new company with my husband. I'm still doing all this stuff, of course. Still, I'm not going to stop, working in this way, but I'm adding more things in and I'm expanding, which means I've had to have these really like clear conversations with myself of like, what needs to go? What mindset? What stories am I telling myself? Like I was like, I have a hard time with doing social media for one account. Like, how am I going to do two accounts? But I was like, this is a story. So notice the stories that prohibit you from stepping into the identity of who you're going to become, because this is a very much we're really entering into like that one feeling, the one numerology. Remember, we're in a 1 year. So there's going to be new starts to things. And so this is coming in and saying, okay, you say you want to be this person, you want to become that identity, but you're still doing all other things that are tying you into, it's like you're loyal to your past. So this week really shows you what needs to shift and change so you can embody the version of you that you want to be. This week, please get clear. Please reignite your goals. Please get excited again. The Aquarius new moon. I'll do a video for this, but Aquarius new moon is inventive and eccentric, innovative. Aquarius does not beat to anybody else's drum. It's like fly your freak flag. Think of the future. It's a futuristic sign. It wants to see you grow and move towards something new and not stay in the past. So there's just so much of that. It's saturated into this week. And so set your intentions for the new moon of it's the water bearer as the symbol. And the Aquarius new moon is what is the magic and medicine that you're going to bring to the community. Because it's, we had just had the Leo full moon, and the Leo full moon is about like you being on the stage and you knowing like what creatively you want to be and show up as with a brave and courageous heart. But can you do that and bring back the medicine to the community? Because Aquarius is the 11th house. It rules community. It rules the people that you spend time with. Okay. So, and it's ruled by Uranus, right? Which is disruptions. It doesn't keep things the same, because if you keep staying the same, you're not going to move forward. So you see where I'm going with all this. I'm not going to go any deeper into that because I think you get the picture. We do move into, after the Aquarius new moon, we do go on the 18th into, the sun moves into Pisces. So we go into Pisces season. So we're wrapping it up, right? And on the 20th, we have Saturn conjunct Neptune. So Saturn in Aries conjunct Neptune in Aries, all happening at 0 degrees. Ooh-wee, baby. This is your reset. Like, that button, it's like, I don't know. Is there a reset button? I feel like there is at Office Depot. There used to be like reset. I don't know. Maybe I'm making this. I make stuff up all the time in my head. But that's what I see as a button that you hit and it says reset, 0 degrees, new story, new chapter, new life. It doesn't need to be that dramatic, but what if you work in alignment with the astrology and you're like, what do I want to feel new? Like what could be possible for me if I didn't buy into that old limiting story about me? Who do you want to be in the future? And I love to do futuring readings with people. Oh my God. I take them in a deep hypnosis where you go from like into alpha and theta, and you see things about your future, because believe it or not, there is a timeline that exists for your future, and you can tap into that timeline and you can start to notice what's happening and how you feel and bring that back. And I help you with that. So if you're like, ooh, I want to know, like, what's my future self doing? I can support you with that. Okay, so we are at the last week of this month. I was gonna say the year, no, the month, the 23rd. So let me pull a card for that. We get the strength card. Okay. So let's wrap this up. Mercury's going to go retrograde on the 26th. The 27th is my daughter's birthday, and she's officially becoming a teenager. I know that's not astrology news, but that's probably going to rock my world, because I can't believe my first child is going to be 13 years old. Where has the time gone? Oh, anyways, I forgot to mention something. And so forgive me. I want to just say one thing that I forgot to say with that tower card that I pulled earlier. We are going back, like the last time there was that eclipse cycle with Aquarius, as because we're going into nodal changes, right? If it's an eclipse, it's nodal changes happening. It was 18 years ago. Oh my God, I was 34 18 years ago. I think, is that the math? I don't know. Anyways, that was a really crazy year for me because I was trying to stay in pharmaceutical sales and I got laid off and I didn't want to leave the industry, but I was also doing readings on the side. And I couldn't get back into the industry because my salary and my compensation was so high because I was so good. It was a really good rep. I couldn't get back in because nobody wanted to hire me because the base salaries weren't even comparable to the bonuses I was making. So I couldn't get back into the industry. It was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like something that's out of alignment. I got moved out of it and I couldn't get back in. But it was for the best. I look back and if I would have stayed, I would have been like probably still a rep to this day because it was like such good money, but it wasn't my path. Like God had such a higher plan for me. So whatever falls or shifts, it's part of your destiny. And you have this strength for the last week to really handle it. You have this strength to ground in and see the very ways and things that you like. We're going back to that. Remember that firm foundation card from the beginning of the month? Like this is the whole month. We're building that firm foundation. So this is about building your resiliency and your power and knowing you have everything it takes to be a creator. So this week is really highlighting where is it that you need to pour some strength and resiliency into a part of your life to help make it grow, to help see it flourish. You may have to put a little extra TLC into a certain part of your life. This is the card in the traditional tarot where she's got the big tiger. I think it's a tiger, and she's tamed the tiger. So what's that thing that was once scary to you that now you've tamed and you get to work with? I know public speaking used to be so scary for me. And now I do videos and when I was a pharmaceutical rep, I used to have to do like presentations all the time. And then I had another job where I had to give presentations to city councils. And what once was scary, once you do it, it's not scary anymore, right? So there's this feeling of realizing that you've grown and something and that you've moved past something. And it's not because you bypass it, it's because you immersed yourself in it. So you might be in that this week. You might be immersing yourself into something so that you're not afraid of it. Do the things that scare you. I know that is such weird advice, but if you want to step more into your power and be more abundant, like it's not about waiting and I mean, yes, there's timing to everything, but it's about taking imperfect action, letting yourself be messy at times. If you want love in your life, if the tiger is the whole narrative that you have that you can't have it and nobody loves you and oh my gosh, I never meet anybody, blah, 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 face it and do something about it. That is your power this last week of February. Do something. Put yourself online. Go to a different coffee shop. Pray. Ask for yourself to be like to remove that limiting story. Miracles can happen when you change your consciousness. And so this week represents that. It's very powerful. It feels like you can like, because we're still in that eclipse season, I think till March 3rd. So it just feels like the more you face something and the more you tenderize it, and like you work with it, it feels like there's like a quickening, a fast energy that takes you forward. It's interesting because Spirit was saying to me, it's like I'm doing new podcasts, right? And I want, of course, my brain's like, I want it to be perfect. Oh, my hair, like I did one and I had like a bang that was sticking out like right in the middle of my head the whole time. I was like, oh my God, like seriously, like I couldn't see it because it's funny because when you film in this studio I use, there's no like mirroring back to you. It's just like a camera, so you can't see. So I didn't know the whole time. And I was like, oh my God, do I just erase it? Or do I just say F it and go with it? And that may sound like a really silly thing, but you know what's really underneath that from a vulnerable place inside of me is I'm worried about how people perceive me, that I'm not going to look nice enough, or they're going to think I look bad, or I look, oh, and it's like a deep, long storyline within me, a wound that's been since my childhood. And if I let that stop me from being impactful and getting my message out into the world, like, what? So that's what I'm talking about. Like something that, like, okay, it was a piece of hair. Why is that such a big deal? Like, who freaking cares? But it's tied to, like, for me, it was tied to something. So you might have a part of your life where you need to have the strength to be like, I'm not going to let that get the best of me. I'm not going to like apply that fear or that way of staying comfortable and keep doing that so that I don't move into this other area that's like trying to move me forward into the life that I really want. Because we're all here, I hope. If you're on my page, if you're on my YouTube, it's because you believe that you are a co-creator of your life with a higher power, whatever your higher power is. And you're here on this planet to not only be a better human being to the degree that you can, but to live your best life and to believe that is fully possible for you. So you're always in the act of becoming a certain identity and working on yourself and noticing the content of your life, or you're on autopilot and you're asleep and you don't really know what the fuck's going on half the time, right? And you're just like, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. Wake up, ask deeper questions, work with somebody to get some support. Because these things that are repetitive in your life that keep showing up, they're showing up because your soul wants you to change. It wants you to align to your higher timeline. And you can't do that if you're playing the same old freaking game that you've been playing for the last 10, 20 years. Boring. Sorry, I'm just honest. That bores me at least. I had a conversation with somebody and we were talking about reinventing ourselves, and we were talking about like who we were, even who I was 18 years ago, during the last eclipse season. And my girlfriend was asking me, she was like, do you think that it's going to be like the similar things are going to happen to us that they happened back then? I said, how in the world? Because both of us got divorced within like I was a year before her, but she was getting divorced during that time. I go, how in the world could that transpire again? And think about this for astrology in general, by the way, with repeating cycles. We're not at the same consciousness. I am a different person at 52 than I was at 34. Trust me. I mean, wildly different. And I love that version of me, but she was a little bit, living a very different life, just figuring some things out and going through some deep initiations of being laid off and going through a divorce and all these things. And I'm in a very different place. And so are you. So are you. So you've matured and you've grown. And so whatever happened to you in the past doesn't need to repeat itself because you are maturing, right? You're growing. So I just had to add that in because I thought it was so funny. And astrology is a guide and it's a tool. It's not this is going to happen to you. Just like this that I'm giving to you, it's prescriptive. It's just trying to help you navigate the week. But you ultimately are in control of your life. Truly, you ultimately are in control of your life. And you don't like something, you can change it through love, through love. So much love to you guys. If you like this, please subscribe to my channel. I will see you actually again later this week for a little soulful chat. And I have some things I want to share. And what I've been doing is popping on one day on the week and just speaking from my heart and teaching and bringing in different things from clients and from my own life. And I find that I'm getting better views on those than even my astrology things, but I still love astrology. So I'm going to keep showing up in that way too. But anyways, have a beautiful month. Let me know how it goes, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.